Jorge Luis Borges's short story, The Circular Ruins, was first published in 1940 in the literary journal, Sur, which means south. The Spanish title of the story is Las Ruinas Circulares, and it was part of the 1941 collection titled The Garden of Forking Paths or El Jardín de Senderos que se bifurcan. In 1944, The Circular Ruins was included in the collection Fictions. Its first English publication was in view in 1946, translated by Paul Bowles. Themes present in The Circular Ruins include idealism, immortality, dreams and their meanings, and thoughts manifesting in the tangible world. These themes are also prevalent in Borges's other works, such as Tlön, Ugbar, Orbis, Tertius, and Pierre Menard, author of the Quixote. The Circular Ruins is an allegorical tale of creation. Wounded, a foreigner is traveling from the southern reaches of Persia, fleeing to the north to ancient circular ruins. When he arrives and rests there, his wounds are healed by magic, yet the traveler is not surprised by this. Borges describes the ruins as having previously been the color of fire, but now the color of ash. There is a stone statue there, which Borges describes as possibly a horse, possibly a tiger. The traveler feels compelled to sleep, and so he does. Upon waking, he finds that the locals have left offerings nearby. He takes this to mean that they either want him to grant them favor, or they fear his magical ability and seek to earn his goodwill. Now healed, he begins to create, dreaming a man into the real world. To this end, he meditates, focusing all of his energy on creating through this dream state. At first, his dreams are chaotic. Then, they change so that he stands in an amphitheater, lecturing to students. His topics range through a number of academic disciplines, and as he questions his students, they try to answer to prove that they understand his lectures. His sleeping and waking hours are devoted to thinking about their answers. This is part of his creation process. He is seeking the soul that he will manifest into reality among those students. About 10 nights pass in this fashion, and he decides that the students do not provide meaningful answers. Instead, they just regurgitate what he has told them. Their souls are not independent, so they are not ready to be manifested into reality. The traveler decides to take a new path, which is to work with and tutor those students who object to his lectures. Through this process, he selects one student from among the multitude. Now ready to create, he must undergo the trial of such an act. The stress of creating makes it impossible for him to sleep at first, so he has to take a month of rest without meditating. After that month has passed, he begins to dream the youth into existence, part by part, focusing first on the heart and organs. During this process, he almost accidentally destroys this creation, this manifestation. Borges points out that he should have, but the traveler pleads with the statue in the ruins. In reply to the traveler's pleas, the god Fire appears as a combination of a tiger, horse, bull, rose, and tempest. The god offers to bring the creation to life, and only he and the traveler will know the other man was created, provided the traveler teaches the youth about the rites of fire. The traveler agrees, and the god brings the youth into existence. For 2 years, the traveler teaches the youth. One day, he sends him to train by himself at the ruins downstream. The traveler is feeling weak and fearful. He is afraid the youth will discover his nature, that he was created and did not always exist in the real world. At the end of the story, fire burns the ruins. But when it does not harm the traveler, he discovers that he, too, is the result of someone's dream, just like the youth. Jorge Luis Borges was born in 1921 in Argentina. In addition to being a writer and poet, he was also a philosopher, an editor, a critic, a translator, and a librarian. His most notable works include A Universal History of Infamy, Fictions, El Aleph, and The Book of Sand. Borges felt that he should have received the Nobel Prize in Literature, but he never did, perhaps because of his conservative views on politics, or perhaps because he accepted an honor from Augusto Pinochet, the Chilean dictator. Borges's use of fantasy in his literary works is considered an influence on contemporary fantasy literature. The term Borgesian conundrum, a philosophical term named after Borges, questions whether the writer writes a story or whether the story writes the writer. Originally, Borges introduced this idea in his work, Kafka and His Precursors. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did and be sure to subscribe. Thank you.